What's up, guys, and welcome back to this week's episode of the podcast. I'm joined by Harry, of course. He's here, he's there, he's every fucking where. I'm pretty sure I made that joke last week as well.
Yeah.
It's getting old, it's getting stale, like Arteta ball. We are going to talk about the Bournemouth game today. Wasn't really a lot that happened. Obviously, last episode we did Guess Who. Not very many people have watched that, to be honest, so watch it. It's fucking hilarious. It may have been as Spurs as it gets towards the end. Anyway, we're going to talk about the Bournemouth game. It's going to be a very short episode today because we've done quite a few long ones recently. In fact, I think every episode's been almost 2 hours.
2 hours, yeah.
For the last couple of weeks. So we're going to have a couple of short ones. Talk about Bournemouth game this week, Fulham game next week. Talk about what happened, whatever happened in the Europa League tie the week after. Because I'm off both Thursdays, so that's quite nice. And then the following week, we're going to talk about Chelsea. And then by that point, it's the end of March. Don't ask me what I'm doing that far because I ain't got a fucking clue. So, Bournemouth. They're 7th in the Premier League in a minute.
Yeah.
They've lost... How many do we say? They've got plus 13 goal difference, I remember that much. They have won 12, drawn 7, and lost 8. They've only won twice more than us. They've drawn a lot less, but obviously we've lost a lot more. We've conceded 7 goals more than them, and we've scored 8 goals more. So our goal difference is 1 more than theirs, and they're 10 points ahead of us. I honestly think this is going to be a little bit closer than what we probably think it is. I just think that Bournemouth have had a couple of shaky results. The Ukrainian fellow, whose name I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce, centre-back, he got suspended in the last game. And he's still out for the game against Spurs, and I think that'll be a massive, massive loss to them. He's so important the way he plays. For those of guys that play Football Manager...
Is it the Hoyneston guy or the other guy?
No, it's the other guy. For the guys that play Football Manager, you know he's a Football Manager wonder kid. So, yeah, I think it's going to be tough. If Alison scored, I believe against Wolves in the Cup the other day, back from injury, so that's a positive sign for them. A little bit too soon for Dom Solanke. We're starting to get to the business end of getting most of the injured players back now.
Thursday, so I don't know if he might be back for some of the Bournemouth game. I don't know.
Yeah, I think he might make the bench, but like I say, I kind of don't want to see him rush, to be honest. It's a tough one. I think it's going to be a really tight game. I think it's going to be a 1-goal difference game, a 3-2 or a 2-1. I think both teams need the 3 points. Bournemouth need it because they have a real opportunity to get Europe next season. We've got 11 games to go. They have a real opportunity to get Europe next season, but they've got a tough run of games coming up. And, they've had...
Also, it could be Iriola's audition.
I'm not even going to start speculating about that.
Iriola, that's why I mentioned it.
They've got Arsenal, Man United, Villa, City coming right to the end. Leicester have already gone. Palace, who are maybe might not be stable by that point. Fulham, who are going to go for the same positions they are. West Ham, again, gone on a bit of a run. So again, they could be in the same position. Ipswich will be fighting for their life at that point. Brentford pretty stable. So they've got a complex run of games coming up. So I think they really could do with a point. These are the kind of games that when you remember from when we were like qualifying for the Europa League or when we were qualifying for the Champions League, every single point matters at this point of the season. Well, especially if you're a team that doesn't typically get European football or doesn't ever get European football, to get it for that first time, to get your name in the hat.
What I remember when I was growing up with Martin Yole, yeah, like the first year we made Europe, we should have really finished top 4, but that's another discussion.
Yeah.
We're going to that lasagna stuff. But I remember the biggest issue we had was the away form. Now, if Bournemouth can get a better away form, like at least get a point of us minimum, like bet as a minimum. If they can get a win off us, they're like in the driving seat really for Europe because it's for them. It's like I said, it's such a big thing, and the first time you do it, it is like quite a big thing. Like a club of their size, really, I had to say it that way because
no, you are right though. Like we've got a single stand that's got more capacity than their entire stadium. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
So in that respect, so it will be massive for them, and I think they're quite an attractive club actually as well.
I do really like Bournemouth as a club. I like them back from Eddie Howe's days. They
play. Their football's kind of quite effective. Let's be honest, and I think. If Eddie Howe maybe back in the day had better players, maybe he would have done something. I don't know. Because I remember he used to sell like the best player every year. I remember even under Eddie Howe. But now with Iriola, he's kind of like, I don't know how to say it, not stumbled on these players, but kind of like
He's kind of like what Poch did in a way. He's got the perfect players for his system all at the right time.
it's what.
And it's just a case of where they're going to go and get those one or two cogs. And for Bournemouth to do that, they need to get some form of European football, maybe Europa League or higher.
If they don't get European football, then the vultures could be coming from some of them.
Yeah, and I think when you look, I mean, Fulham are a point behind them. Brighton are on the same points. Villa are a point behind them. They're really doing things that are relevant. So from 10th is 42 for Villa, 9th is 42 for Fulham, 8th is 43 for Brighton, 7th is 43 for Bournemouth, 6th is 44 for Newcastle, 5th is 46 for Chelsea, 4th is 47 for City, 3rd is 48 for Nottingham Forest, and then everybody else, Liverpool and Arsenal, are pretty much set. The points gap for me 6 points ahead of third place is clear for Arsenal, and I think 7 points ahead for Liverpool is clear. So realistically, from third to eighth, obviously with City being the only major club left in the FA Cup now as well. From then to eighth, there's an opportunity for any team. I mean, if Aston Villa go on a bit of a run and City get knocked out the cup and Villa win the FA Cup, all of a sudden then that Europa League spot, it really starts to open the doors for Bournemouth. And
I think also because I think the only place for me up for grabs is fourth. Forget third. I think it'll be City, Arsenal, and Liverpool will be first. I think City will nick second, and I think Arsenal will finish third. And I think that fourth spot could go to like.
I think Arsenal are too many points ahead. They're 7 points ahead still. I think I don't think they'll have that big of a fall off.
On the verge of just
completely collapse. That'd be funny, wouldn't it?
Yeah. No, I just think City are just they've got momentum now. And I just think they're going to overtake them and they'll finish second because they've got nothing else to play for, just like pride, really. And and I think they'll just use it as a springboard for next season if they finish second. So I think they're really going to go for second now. City.
I mean, City have got Nottingham Forest on Saturday. If City lose that, then I think that they're away. They're at the City ground. I think if they lose that, I mean, City have got a really tough run in. They've got Forest away, Brighton at home, Man United away, Palace at home, Everton away, Villa at home, Bournemouth at home, and then that's it. Like they're going to have City have not got an easy run, and on a normal season, you'd say that's business as usual. But given the level of teams that City have dropped points to during the course of this season, I think there's a real opportunity here that City could go and beat Forest and then go and lose to Bournemouth, go and lose to Fulham, go and lose to Man United. Like
have the cup and they have the league now. Like there's no Europe now. So I think for them it's kind of like
I think it's interesting because even though we say the title's done and relegation places are probably done, this is the first time in a long time where the European places could go to 8 different teams.
I think that's why I think top 3 with those 3. I mean, I still think City will sneak second, and I think the 4th spot could go to like Villa, Brighton, Bournemouth. There's like even Fulham at a push. I think they'll tail off personally, but like there's 4 or 5 teams I look at. I think they could nick that 4th spot. I think if we look at it on previous years, Villa's probably most likely because they have like a strongest squad on paper.
But then I can see Villa going through a few rounds in the Champions League, so I think that will hinder them. I think Villa's focus will be the Champions League and the FA Cup personally. The FA Cup is a route back into Europe if they don't qualify. But I think they have, like, you look at the bracket, if Real Madrid go out, Villa have a real chance of hitting semi-final. And you and I both know that once you hit semi-final, anything's possible.
But then, I love Emery and I think it's way better than the manager we got. But, Olympiacos beat Villa last season. So, I don't know. It could be a case of where they get to the semis and they face someone a bit tricky and they get knocked. But, I think if Villa had no other competitions, I'd put them as a favourite for 4th. But because they're in the FA Cup and still in the Champions League, I think perhaps Brighton.
And I think right now for Villa, the Champions League money, I think it works out that they'll get a bigger proportion of Champions League money through finishing further down the competition than they will through re-qualifying for next year. Yeah. So for them, it makes more sense to try and go through a bunch of 2-legged ties than try and win the next 11 games.
Emery's more of a cup manager in some
respect. Yeah. I think the thing that's interesting is the fact that you look at all those teams that we've listed. It wouldn't surprise me if Nottingham Forest beat City 2-0 on Saturday. But it also wouldn't surprise me if City beat them 4-0. Do you know what I mean? So the fact that we're at the point where there's so many games where from 3rd to 8th, so many of those teams have got to play 2 or 3 games against one of those other teams in that run-in between now and the end of the season, it blows it completely out of proportion. When you look at Bournemouth, they'll go and get a point here, point here, point here, 3 points there, 3 points there, and then go and lose a game to Wolves. They probably should have lost because they probably should have won through a silly red card.
I think Fulham won't do it. I think they'll fall out.
One thing I will talk, we'll talk about just briefly about Fulham. They've become the perfect mid-table club now. They can be a giant killer on their day, but they're pretty much stable enough to go and stay up. I think
they did beat us 4-0 last season.
I think the problem with Fulham is they lack the quality to take them to the next level.
Yeah.
And it's whether or not financially they're going to invest that, or whether they're just going to invest to stay where they are.
I mean, the problem is their players are actually good. The problem is they're so inconsistent. Like the players themselves are inconsistent. Like, on their day, they can be like, I mean, if they all click, which they've done, obviously, they can be really, really good and really hard to play against. But if their players have off games, which they tend to do like 50% of the time, let's say, this is what I mean. I don't think they'll finish fourth. I
think Fulham having to play, I don't think they'll finish fourth, but I think Fulham having to play Bournemouth could have really big ramifications if someone like Villa win the FA Cup and don't finish in the top 8.
Yeah.
If
I was to say Forest are most likely to finish fourth, but I wouldn't surprise if Bournemouth make it. I don't know why. I just have this feeling Bournemouth.
Yeah. There's a proper feel-good factor. They're a really well-run club. Their owner is absolutely brilliant. If you actually hear him talk about, I don't know if you heard him talk a couple of months back about just before Christmas. He was asked about, maybe it was a repeated interview, but he was asked about playing games abroad, and he said, why would I take it away from the fans that create this club? Like, no, like that's not right at all. And he speaks, the owner, despite being a Yankee, speaks so passionately about the game and the love for Bournemouth. And that's, I've always said, I don't care who the owners are, they have to care, they have to love, they have to want the team to do well and want to progress. And I think they will, or even if they don't make Europe, I think they will go and sign. There will be one or two casualties, but I think they will go and recruit well. You know, when they brought Iriota in, no one had really heard of him.
Look at Bournemouth, right? And they have way less money than us. The difference is they're using their resources way better than we are compared to what they have. Yeah. And they're using, they're buying money with I guess I'm saying the most money, but I have to say they're paying the biggest number of transfers they can pay for a player. They're buying the best with that money. And they're buying players who are walking into the team. They're not buying just young players all the time. They're buying mostly players that have walked into the team, plus young players behind them, because they do have their youth is quite good anyway. Like it's all right. But so they seem to have a plan. That's what I'm trying to say.
I think the thing that interests me about the manager and the style of play is, and we spoke about Andy, we spoke about injuries, but Bournemouth's injury list has been long this season, really, really long this season. And the thing that makes me think maybe they'll have a fall off towards the end, and why playing away to a team like Spurs at this stage of the season is probably the worst thing for them, is because we've proven that now we've had a bit of a rest, and whether these players can run. And we always knew that anyway. We knew that from Poch days. We've always been a club that's press. Not to this extent, but we've always been a club that's pressed. Obviously, we've had injuries, we've had fatigue. We've now been able to rotate players. Against Ipswich, we took 4 players up or 4 players on. You could see the level go up again, and then we grabbed the 3rd, and then we grabbed the 4th. So I think Tottenham have that advantage right now, that we are easing back into having a close to fully fit squad. And the closer we get to that, the more rotation options we've got, the more game-changing tactical stuff can be done. Even if it's just a personnel legs for legs, you and I both know that energetic legs at the end of towards the end of a game can make a huge difference. And I think the lack of depth Bournemouth have right now, and the lack of the amount of players that got injured, obviously they've got a main centre back suspended. I think this is why I think it's going to be a really, really tight game, because
the problem is that they went and away to Newcastle and they won, right? And Newcastle is one of the hardest places.
Yeah.
We've won there since Harry Redknapp, I think.
They did, but I think the advantage we've got now.
They had that day yet. Look at the players.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, but I think the advantage we've got now is they've just played a cup game. They've not had a lot of rest time. Our squad's had a week or so to replenish. Obviously, we had no weekend game last weekend. So we've had over a week to replenish, almost a week and a half. They haven't had that luxury.
Alkmaar as well, though.
Say?
It's be after Alkmaar, remember? After we go to Holland.
Oh, shit, yeah. I forgot we're playing that on Thursday.
You know how we have hangovers on...
Yeah, I still think that if we can go to Holland and get a job done relatively early. I think, I don't know, in my head, I think it's going to be 2-1 Spurs. I
I
think,
think Bournemouth going to beat us 3-1. To be honest, like let's be honest, man. Like they're going to set up and they're just going to beat us because they should have beaten us 4-5-0 in that when they played us at home. Like let's be honest, it should have been like a cricket score. The amount of place we left behind for their wingers and their forwards was unbelievable. I remember watching it on Amazon Prime. I was like, what am I watching? But then again, I watched Villa run through the middle of our team the other week. So,
yes,
but what
yeah,
I'm trying to say is, it's just like we leave so many holes that I just think Bournemouth has so much pace as well that they'll just hit us. And Iriola knows what he's doing. And that's the difference, I think, as well. And even though we're playing away, I think if they go and beat us as well on the weekend, I think they could be favourites for top 4. Especially if Forest don't beat City.
yeah. But then who would you rather? Surely you'd rather Forest win and cement third and leave fourth up for grabs than City win, or it'd be a draw and both teams have a chance.
I said earlier that I think City's going to nick second. So,
yeah, I still don't see that personally.
I don't know. I just think with Haaland back, obviously Haaland played against us. I just think they got a bit of momentum now. So I don't know. And like I said, they're out of Europe. They just have the FA Cup, which would be on a weekend day anyways. They're going to have 1 week each. So I think they'll just be fresher. Forest, I still think they'll finish at least 5th. Forest, not nowhere near outside the top 6. They're definitely finishing top 6 in my opinion.
Yeah,
I just don't know where. I don't know where. But I just think out of the quality, they're going. I think City will usurp them eventually. They just out of quality. But I just don't think Forest have enough to keep a third spot or something. I think they'll probably finish a third, fourth, fifth, or sixth.
Yeah. I mean, Chelsea are in a bit of free fall for at the minute as well.
Yeah, Chelsea. I don't think they're going to be around.
I think the thing with Bournemouth is they're kind of one of those clubs where you kind of sit there and think. I mean, if I look at their recent results, right? So obviously lost to Brighton, lost to Wolves, lost to Liverpool, fair enough. Drew to Chelsea, fair enough. Drew to Fulham, drew to Palace, drew to West Ham. And then the last time they lost again at that point was November, which was Brighton again, Brentford again.
But I don't think
Villa drew 1-1, lost.
So
realistically, you're looking at since the 23rd of November, they've lost to Liverpool. They've literally lost 3 games since the 23rd of November.
It's insane.
And bear in mind, one of them was Liverpool, who are pretty much nailed on for the title.
Beat everyone anyway, so.
But it's the fact that they can go and drop points to Brighton. They can go and drop points to Wolves.
Against Wolves, though.
Wolves, yeah, but again against Brighton, the Brighton's XG was a lot higher.
The difference is Brighton is a team where you saw against us, where they went 3-2 up and they just dropped off and they sat back. Wolves, again, they probably got their goal and obviously got the man on top that helped them massively as well. And they just sat in a low block. Can I imagine us getting a goal at home to Bournemouth with even 30 minutes left and us seeing out the game? No, I can't, because we just leave too much space. And another thing will be interesting is, say if we're kind of this conversation here because we have to just base it on just what, if depending if Spence plays on Wednesday or Thursday or Sunday or both, because if Spence plays on Thursday, I think he'll probably play Porro on Sunday. Most likely, I don't know which combination.
I think he'll do it the other way around. I think he'll play Porro midweek and Spence on the weekend.
Just bear in mind, if that happens, Twitter's going to go nuts.
But Twitter can go nuts what you like, but I feel like
so you don't think Spence is the better option at right back?
I'm not saying right. At no point did I say that.
In a game where we probably need to win more than the Bournemouth game.
Did I sit there and say that's what I think is going to happen, or did I sit there and say that's what I would do? I sat there and said that's what I think would happen.
Andrew's going to do,
yeah, because I think Andrew will use Porro for the first 70 minutes, more of an attacking threat than a defensive one. If we go 2-0 up, 3-0 up at home, bring Spence on or bring on a centre-back and knock him over like he has done.
We're playing out more.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't make a difference because we probably need a more defensive fullback because we're playing away from home.
But Alkmaar don't have the level of pace that a team like Bournemouth do.
They beat Galatasaray 4-1. It's not going to be a walkover game. Don't get me wrong. I think on paper we should beat Alkmaar, yeah? But you just told me before this started that you'd happy with a draw away to Alkmaar. Now you're
I
telling
did
me,
say that.
and now you're telling me, oh no, we should play the most attacking fullback. So surely we should play some Spence on Thursday and Porro on Sunday, maybe, or like even something like.
I think if we play Porro on Sunday, then we've lost to Bournemouth. If you want the truth,
but like,
I think we'll gain more by playing Porro for 60, 70 minutes on Thursday, and then playing
I'm just
Spence.
warning you from now because people are listening to this on the Friday anyway. Twitter will go mental if he doesn't play Spence. If he doesn't start Spence, Twitter's going to go, especially because he didn't play him in the last game. It's going to be Ange has his favourites, which has probably been proven right anyway. But so we don't see Mikey Moore for flipping 3 weeks.
Yeah, right. But I said this on Twitter the other day. I guarantee Mikey Moore starts on Thursday. He's kept him perfectly to be fully fit to run at that 8 is at Marathon. Because if you look at Mikey Moore's form in the Europa League,
I think he'll go with Tell, Son, and like Johnson or something.
No, he's going more Son Johnson.
No, he's going Tell 100%. There's no way he's not going to play Tell.
I don't think he'll.
No, he'll play Tell 100%.
The reason why I think more is because if you look at when he's playing the Europa League this season, he's absolutely ripped teams to shreds.
Do you think that someone will play left wing or up front? That's the question then. Because
I think he'll play up front against Headers.
I think he'll come on the left, and he'll play Tell up front because this is Ange. It's funny because when Werner was coming on the weekend.
Yeah,
that's why I have to mention this because it was really funny. So the guy behind me was asking, "Oh, we bring on Werner. What's he going to do?" I turned around and go to him, watch. He'll put Son in the middle, put Werner on the left. 5 minutes later, that's what he did. I was just like, there you go. Yeah. Here's Mr. Predictable.
I think the thing for me is...
Imagine if Werner starts on Thursday. I think
I don't see it. I
just think he'll put Son on the left because he just puts Son on the left. Like, for me, I'd play more Son and Porro as the right wing. That's what I would do, but he's never going to do that. He loves Johnson. He'll play Johnson 100%.
Johnson again. Johnson again. I want to have a look for this. So the last time we played Ezek Alkmaar, he played Forster. Obviously, we didn't have a better keeper option. That's solved now. Gray, Dragusin, Davies, Udogie, Bergvall, Bentancur, Madison, Moore, Richarlison, Werner. If I look at the players, they've got Van Bommel who plays on the left, Puku on the right, Parrott in the middle.
Parrott's definitely going to play, isn't he? Let's be honest.
Yeah. I think our starting lineup for the Europa League game is going to be Vicario.
I mean, Vicario 100% is playing, so
I'm gonna say I reckon it'll be Spence, Gray,
Spence.
I think it'll be Spence on the left, and because Udogie wasn't fully fit at the weekend, midweek when we played City. Like, you could tell he was great. Like, he was good. But you could tell his energy fell off. I think he needs more rest time again.
I brought him off to save it for Alkmaar, but anyway.
I think he's brought him off to protect him from getting injured, to be fair. I think it'll be Spence, Gray, Danzo.
Wait, is Davies injured? Davies injured?
Yeah, Davies injured, yeah.
How did Davies get injured? I completely forgot.
Training, I'm pretty sure. Bentancur, Bergvall.
Kulusevski?
No, I think he'll go with Madison because Madison played really well last time when we played against Alkmaar, and he'll go more Son, Tell.
Or not?
Kulusevski we dropped, I reckon. Not dropped, but rest. Right, I'm glad I said that accidentally. Let's clarify something. A player not playing does not mean they've been dropped. A player not playing, if they're not injured, means they've been rested. Okay? You thick fucking morons on fucking Twitter who assume, oh my god, let me get my keyboard out because I'm a little virgin. Oh my god, Andrew's dropped this player. Are you unbelievable? He hasn't dropped them. He's rested them. The same thing, the same fucking people bitched about when the players got injured. Oh my God, he's not resting them. The player got injured, so now he's resting them. Why is
That's
he
what I
dropping
mean.
him?
So if Spence doesn't play on
He's
Thursday, it's going to be carnage. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
But that's what I'm saying. It's stupid though because we don't know the extent of like where Ange's
How Spence is injured?
No, but he might not be injured. But what I'm saying is he might be resting him for
Yeah, but
later on in the game to close out a
if he
game.
doesn't play no, you don't do that. If he doesn't play Thursday, if he doesn't start Thursday, like the dagger's gonna be out for Ange. Not even from me. Yeah,
Yeah, but people are just so fucking stupid.
No, it's
Man.
not stupid. It's because we're
It
playing
is
away from home.
stupid.
Away from home, yeah, you play the defensive fullback. I'm sorry, like you put
This
Spence.
isn't 1950. They are better than us. We are better when we go and we attack a team. I don't
Oh,
want to
when we
see us
leave how
go.
many holes behind?
Oh, mate, we leave holes behind even when we try and fucking defend. What's the point?
What do you mean? What's the point? We're playing away from home. It's gonna be like a completely different game to the home game when we play against Alkmaar. I heard they're quite an hostile atmosphere. Someone was telling me today.
Who'd you hear that from?
Someone who watches Alkmaar. So, but Dutch anyway.
You
But
got
like,
friends in Dutch places.
yeah. But the thing is, I would personally, for me, I'd play Spence and I'd play Adogi on Thursday, and I'd put Adogi and Porro on Sunday because Adogi does need the minutes still. And what I'd do is, if later in the game on Thursday, if we manage to see it out, I'd swap Adogi and Porro, and then maybe move Spence onto the left for like the last 20 minutes or something. But Chris Esky for me is 100% going to play because he rested him. If he's rested them, I mean, that's going to cause even bigger stuff. Chris Esky doesn't start, I think. But so for me, I think he has to play Chris Esky in the middle because we need the strength in that game. So for me, I'm going. If it was me, I'd play Bentancur, Chris Esky, and start on Thursday.
I think Bergwijn needs to start.
We need the legs, and Saad runs like hell, and we need the legs in the way.
Yeah, but one thing I will say, and he's improved it massively, is Bergwijn's work rate has improved so much. Like he doesn't stop running, and it's not the same way Saar runs, but he's still aggressive. He still doesn't get stuck in. He's still the amount of turnovers we've won because Bergwijn's gone and got stuck in and won the ball back. And the difference between Bergwijn and Saar, and I hate to say this because I love Saar, but I think Bergwijn's final decision making when he's won the ball back, his decision making of when to pass, cross, run forward with it, whatever, I think that's improved ahead of Saar's now. So I think if we're playing the game, if we're supposedly playing more defensive and more transitional, then I'd maybe go.
I think Bergwijn's way too wild card to put in this sort of game, personally, because this is a high pressure game, yeah, and we need to win this game or get something from this game. I'd rather put someone with not Basuma because I don't want to see that guy, but at least Saar has got some way more experience in this team around with playing with this team. And for me, Bentancur and Saar is my pivot every time. If I had to pick a pivot with what we've got, because for me, Bergwijn's too wild in this. Like he's too attacking. In a game where we had nothing to lose, like the City game, which we didn't really have that much to lose, you can play him there because, no one's going to bat an eye. Everyone's going to big him up on Twitter and overhype him like they've been doing for every single young player we've had this season. Bergwijn's me. I'm like, mate, what are you watching? He's just carrying the ball. Anyway, but the point I'm trying to say is that you play your best and strongest team, especially away from home. You need to play strong players. So for me, I'm playing Bentancur, Kulusevski, and Star in midfield. So at least have some strength in there and a runner as well. And I'd put, like I said, if I was my choice, I'd put Por on the right wing. So at least we can double up on that Mpoku, whatever his name was, that they played against us.
Yeah.
And then I'd put, obviously, Son with Moore. That's what I would do. But I think he's going to play Tell, Son, and Johnson as his front three. Because he loves Johnson. I mean, Johnson could probably miss from 50 yards, 2 yards, and he'll still put him in. And Odobert ain't playing.
To be fair, the 2 yard chances are the ones Johnson scores, so you can't really.
I've seen him miss some as well, though, to be fair. Yeah. But Odobert ain't playing because he played in the last game. So forget Odobert will be a bench player in that game, 100%. And if Werner starts, I'm probably going to lose my shit, to be honest. Werner starts. But it wouldn't surprise me because Ange, he brought him back twice. So I don't know. That's what I think he's going to play. Tell, Johnson, and Son. He might. I wouldn't be surprised if he puts in Werner. I don't know why. I just have this feeling he might put in Werner. But if he puts Son in the middle, if he's planning to play Son up front. But yeah, the midfield, that's what I would do. I don't know what he's going to do. He might even play Basuma because he's not really played Basuma much. He might do Basuma, Bentancur or something, and Kulusevski. I don't know. But I just don't see Bergwijn playing that game, at least not from the start. And obviously, we're limited in our defence with the centre half options. It's just Danso and Gray, isn't it? There's no one else.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think the
Both have been brilliant, by the way. I'd like to point out.
I think Danso's done well, but I don't like his foraging runs. To be honest, he needs to keep it.
Yeah.
No, it's
But
like
one thing I say, I do love the fact that when he is defending, he's completely no nonsense. There's no stupidity. If he does pass out the back, it's a sensible option every single time.
Romero when he does crazy shit sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I
so going back to the original topic point of
Bournemouth.
the weekend, Bournemouth, yeah. I'm going to say if he starts Pedro Porro against Bournemouth, we're going to lose 3-1.
You think?
And if he starts Spencer Nadogie, then I think we're going to win 2-1.
I think we'll lose 2-1 still.
I thought it was 3-1 a minute ago.
No, Spence, I think he's going to... Well, I hope he plays Spence on Thursday. You're the one telling me he's not. I want to play Spence. I'm agreeing with you. I think he has his favourites. I think he'll play Dogie and Porro because he has his favourites. But a lot depends on Thursday's combination of players because also we're going to be coming into that Sunday game tied as well because we have to and if it's like a hard slog of a draw or something like.
But that's what makes me think. That's what makes me think that he'll start with Porro on Thursday because if we get to the 70th minute and we're winning, bring Spence on, close out the game. He's not running as much. He's not attacking as much. Then he's more preserved for Sunday. Whereas if you start Spence like people want to, there's no way Spence is playing a full 90 on Sunday.
But how much is... Well, that's the thing. How big is Bournemouth game, though? Like, is it that big for us, really?
It's not, but I think if we are going to go the distance in the Europa League, we need to start improving our home form because our home form's not consistent enough. And I think a win against Bournemouth, I hate to say, you bring back to the game we lost, obviously they beat Newcastle recently as well. I think it will do a lot for our confidence. And at this stage of the season, 95% of your a large proportion of your outcome is based on what you've done up to that point, and the rest of it is based on confidence. If you can keep your confidence going to the end of the season, it doesn't matter whether you've got injuries, you will pick up results. If you've got no confidence and you can have fully fit squads, you're not going to pick up results. It's the same reason why Arsenal crumble every year. It's the same reason why we've struggled in title races at the last stage, because when it comes down to it, you can match someone ability for ability. You can match someone's play style, quality for quality, results for results, whatever. But like you compare us to the year we lost the league to Chelsea, more goals scored, less goals conceded, unbeaten at home, fucking like ridiculous. Yeah, we had the injury problem. We still picked up results when we had injuries. We lost the league that year because the lack of confidence when shit hit the fan. The one thing I will say about this, whether you agree, disagree, whatever it might be, the players still look firmly behind and speak firmly behind and act firmly behind the manager, despite our current situation. And it wouldn't surprise me if we go on a consistent run of results between now and the end of the season. And one of the best ways to do that, I hate to say it, is go away and nick a 2-1 or nick a 1-0 at Alkmaar, Alkmaar, and then go and get a narrow result against Bournemouth. At this stage of the season, your 4-0s and your 3-0s and your 2-0s don't really matter. The results you grind out will show more about what your team is capable of.
Let's just go on a run, to be honest.
I think if we go and nick a 2-1 in Holland and we go and nick a 2-1 or 3-2 at home to Bournemouth, I think that allows us to start building the foundations. I think our biggest problem was we played a couple of games, improved our form, and then we played City. If you look at what we've got...
You have to play
no, because City is still City regardless.
Twice. You have to play every team twice. It doesn't matter if it's City.
But this is my point. This is my point, right? Let's say we beat...
about the order of the games and say
No, 2 seconds.
Really? Are you having a lot?
2 seconds. Let's say we beat AZ, beat Bournemouth, beat AZ, beat Fulham.
That's a massive thing.
Just fucking... Let me speak for a second.
Massive ifs. If I walk out tomorrow, I could meet Margot Robbie.
I don't know what the fucking the point is in the conversation. If you cut me off halfway through when I'm trying to make a point, just listen to my fucking point, right? Listen to my point. We beat AZ more than reasonable enough to beat them away, or we can beat Bournemouth at home, and we can definitely beat AZ away to protect this season. Fulham away, cool. You probably expect us to lose or draw, but the amount of games that Fulham have dropped points out at home this season they should have done, it's possible for us to go and win. Then we've got Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, which we're not going to win. Same City situation. Then we've got Southampton at home, that I expect us to annihilate. then we've got Wolves away, then we've got Forest, then we've got Liverpool, then we've got West Ham, then we've got Palace, then we've got Villa, then we've got Brighton. So up until the point after we play Southampton, it's going to be a win-loss, 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 win-loss at best. Which means if we're going to pick up results, we have to beat Fulham, and we have to beat Southampton, and we have to beat Bournemouth. But because otherwise, if you look at it, I'd expect us to lose away to Wolves, lose at home to Forest, lose away to Liverpool, lose away to West Ham, probably narrowly beat Palace, potentially narrowly beat Villa because for some reason we seem to play better at Villa Park, and then narrowly beat or narrowly lose to Brighton. So from the run of games we've got, I truly think that we need to beat Bournemouth. Otherwise, there's going to be no confidence at all going into the Europa League knockouts. And then at that point, then I would kind of say we need the bigger teams in the Europa League, because if we overcome them, that confidence boost is going to do so much for us that it's going to keep our European dreams up. Because if we go, honest to God, hands down, if our league form continues to be inconsistent and we go and beat AZ and then we get Sociedad and we narrowly beat them and then we go and get a bigger team in the next round, we're going to have no actual confidence at all. If we go on a couple of runs and then we lose away to Chelsea, where we've only won like twice in the last 10 years or 15 years, you kind of sit there and go, okay, we kind of expect it. And then you go and beat whoever, and then you go away to West Ham and maybe you get a draw. Okay, cool. And then you go to your next team that's kind of 50-50. You don't know if you're going to beat them or not. You get a draw, and then Europa League, you've got a semi-decent side, and you go and win your first leg. That allows your confidence to be built competition by competition, rather than confidence in the league like Liverpool have, or confidence in Europe like Villa have had this season. You kind of get a little bit from the league, and then a little bit from the Europe, and a little bit from the league, a little bit from Europe, and it's enough to carry you to the end of the season.
Finished top of the Champions League group, didn't they?
Yeah, no, but I'm on about Villa as in like they did really, really well in the Champions League. So
well, they're good in the league, but they're not good anywhere else.
No, that wasn't my example. Like, what I'm saying to you is you can get confidence from different places. Liverpool have got their confidence
in the league. They're like how many points above us, aren't they?
No, but what I'm saying to you, yes, Villa above Villa's league form.
They're better than
that's not the point I'm trying to make.
The point Villa's example, saying that they're the bad example for someone a team who's just good in Europe and not good anywhere else.
I never said just good in Europe. I said where their confidence is coming from. With a team like Aston Villa, when they're going and narrowly winning games in the league, all right, the win against the win the other day where Essendon scored 2, like it seemed like it did well, but in games like they went and lost, who did they lose 4-1 to in the league a few weeks ago? They lost 4-1 someone. I know I'm not tripping. Who was it? 4-1 to Palace. There you go. Like Villa, and that will knock their confidence a little bit in the league. Then they've got to be in Cardiff, they kind of expect. Then if they get a good result against Bruges, it's going to help their confidence to balance each competition. Like a good result in the league is going to help their confidence in Europe, and a good result in Europe is going to help their confidence in the league. But they're not getting a consistent run in either competition to allow their confidence to be just based on one competition alone. Whereas Liverpool are doing so well in the league that if they didn't have Europe at all, their confidence in the league would still be sky high because their results have been so good that there's not a room for doubt for them.
How about City, though?
But this is what I'm saying, though. So City...
But just because you're doing well in one competition doesn't mean you're going to do well in another.
No, it's not about like if you're doing well. It's about going into a game...
Whole confidence boost.
Yeah, but I'm not referring to confidence as directly correlated to results.
We said we were good for 3 games, then we played City as an excuse. We played City.
Yeah.
Then you put Chelsea as an example again. So in reality, we have to play every team twice in the league, right?
But my point is...
Oh, well, it's Chelsea. Oh, well, it's City.
Yeah, but my point is we lose to those teams in the league.
Countless times by this manager that this guy's some sort of messiah. So as far as I can say...
Right, but my point is, right, so for example, we could get Man United or Real Sociedad potentially in the next round, right?
United in the final, though. We get Frankfurt or Ajax in the next round.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I was looking at the wrong thing. Yeah, so this is my point.
We play Lazio in the semi if we even get there.
Yeah, but this is my point, though, right? So let's say we go and beat AZ, and then we go and lose to Bournemouth in between, and we lose the Fulham game afterwards. And then we draw Frankfurt, and we go to beat them 2-0 away from home or beat them 2-1 away from home. The playing a more difficult team in Europe and getting a result Because Spurs have a habit of playing against difficult teams in Europe and still getting a result. We've done it at Madrid, we've done it at Barca, we've done so many different teams over the years that we should never ever be in the same conversation with. We've gone against them in Europe and got a result. Right? And how many times? I think when we beat Real Madrid at Wembley, we lost the league game before that and then beat Madrid 3-1 at Wembley and then lost the league or drew the league game after that. I'm pretty sure there was Burnley either side of that we lost.
Is that when we drew at home to Burnley at Wembley?
We drew at home to Burnley, I think, and then we played Real Madrid and beat them 3-1.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So Spurs have proven in the past that.
But then is that Spurs team you mentioned, or even Redknapp's team you mentioned, used to be like this, who there would be a little hangover after the Euro. Not always. There was Euro.
Yeah, but there was more often than not.
A manager as well is so much better back then than we have now. Because I'm sorry, none of these players we have, none of this manager we have, walks into those teams you mentioned, Koch or Redknapp, or maybe even bloody Martin Yol's team.
I disagree. I think someone like Kulusevski does.
None of them get in. Maybe Van der Ven a push.
Kulusevski gets in. I'm sorry,
no,
he does.
He doesn't get into Poch's team.
He does.
He definitely not going to Redknapp's team. Where's he going to play?
Anyway, I'm not going to sit here and go back and forth. What I'm saying to you, though,
way better manager than Ange. So for me, this whole comparison, well, Spurs in the past did this. Okay, maybe if we get lucky, we might be able to be.
Hold on, but 2 seconds. We literally said a few weeks ago that one of the reasons why Arsenal don't achieve anything in Europe is because when you walk into that club, it doesn't reek of we've done something in Europe, right? And I know you have to do
they got the Champions League final as well in 2006.
Okay, and they've got nowhere near since. They made the Europa League final, but then, every single person said they'd lost it. There was no different than us. How many
finals have we been to apart from Champions League?
Apart from the biggest final in European football.
Arsenal went to one in 2006 and then went to Europa League. We haven't been to a final since.
And they lost them.
We lost ours as well.
But what I'm saying, you're saying they got to an extra Europa League final.
I know we're talking about historically because I know this because my dad went to the Anderlecht game where we won.
The Anderlecht one, yeah.
He was there. Okay, so I know about this stuff, right? But for me, that was like the old Tottenham, right?
But what I'm saying to you is, as a club, when you go into a European competition, people sit there and look at Tottenham and go, Tottenham, that's the team that has pedigree in Europe. Nobody sits there and looks at Arsenal as an example and goes, they're one. So if anything, Arsenal get mocked by Tottenham, by Chelsea, by West Ham. Even West Ham, I know it was a conference. People come say, well, you're like, cool, whatever. But they still sit there and go, West Ham got a result in a European final against a team, I'm pretty sure, was it Frankfurt that they played in the final? In Prague?
No, it was someone else, wasn't it?
I can't remember who it was. Yeah. Fiorentina, that was it, because they lost it the year before. Like, people sitting there now, if you play West Ham in the Europa League, when they were in the Europa League at the Moyes before and they made it to the semi-final, one of the reasons they lost to Frankfurt was because they didn't have that fear factor about them. If they played that exact same game now, right, with both teams having won something in Europe, I think West Ham go into it feeling stronger, Frankfurt go into it feeling a bit more intimidated. And this is why I hope to God that we don't get Ajax. I want Frankfurt.
Well, you just told me Frankfurt won the Europa League, so we should be more scared of them based on that.
But what I'm saying to you is the difference is that I don't want a game where
either team is going to be hard anyway because
they are. But I want a team where we have to go into it having to grind because it's going to make us stronger at later stages. I'm telling you now, if we get Ajax, we're going to wipe the floor with them. And the problem is,
Ajax, are they back in 2018-19?
They're worse. And this is my point, and they've already got that fear factor of this is what happened. The last time we played Tottenham, we were 45 minutes from a Champions League final, and we got embarrassed.
Well, they could go into it with revenge. You don't know, really.
But they won't. The revenge won't happen because it's a different group of players. But the fans will go into it.
Tottenham, like 2 minutes ago, saying, "Well, Tottenham have European pedigree based on something that happened, 5, 6, 7 years ago." Plus, I know the 81. Spurs were like a big European side in the 80s, I think, and the 70s. We were thought that way because it was before the Champions League, by the way. But nowadays, I don't look at Tottenham. Bear in mind, we only got back into Europe in 2006, which I know it was like 19 years ago, but in relative terms to the club's history, that's not a long period. And bear in mind, we were in Europe most of those times. The only time we ever really did something in Europe was kind of a fluke with the Poch run. If I'm being honest, in my lifetime was a fluke.
To be fair, one of the reasons why there were so many opportunities for us to do.
Redknapp, we had the good thing about Redknapp, the lucky thing that Redknapp had is because he was the first manager to get us into the Champions League, and because that was Spurs' first experience in the Champions League, like ever. Obviously, it wasn't the Champions League before it, yeah, different format.
Yeah,
but because Spurs had the no one knew who they were factor. I don't know what that phrase is called. So because we had that factor, that's why I think. I hate to say it this way because I love Redknapp, but that was one of the reasons why we did so well in the Champions League because no one really knew what to expect with Spurs. Yeah, we were newcomers. We had the first time lucky thing, I guess, a bit as well. Like we did. I'm not saying we didn't play well, obviously, but we had that unknown factor. Yeah, when we got in there up the Poch, don't forget we crashed out in the first.
Yeah, but I think we crashed out because of the way. Because if you look at what we did in the Europa League, you think of Dortmund away. Right, that year I think of Josh Alderman and Tom Carroll as a double pivot.
I was about Champions League when we crashed.
No, but what I'm saying to you is you've literally switched it from Redknapp to Poch. It's not just about the competition. Any competition we were in Europe under Pochettino, he did not take it seriously. You and I both know that.
3-1.
Yeah, but what I'm saying to you is before we made the Champions League, he had 3 years, or was it 2 or 3 years he had, where he could have given a go at the Europa League. And the lineups we...
one season.
I'm sure we had 2. Must have had 2.
2. I think the first season, though, was when, we had Kane's emergence. It was his first year at Spurs.
But regardless, the result I think to...
We were trying to concentrate on one other competition and being the league.
The results I think to the most in Europe, I think to... CSKA Moscow, I think to Genk when we dropped down to the Europa League. I was actually staying in Wembley at the time. Yeah. I think of Dortmund away. Like so many poor decisions Poch made tactically, personnel wise in Europe was just shambolic, absolutely shambolic. Now, for me personally, I think there is enough of a pedigree in this competition for me for Spurs that. If we get results against medium to equal level opposition to us, it's going to help boost our confidence where our league form is inconsistent. I wouldn't be surprised if we pick up 6 points between now and the end of the season in the league and make it to the Europa League semi-final. I wouldn't be surprised.
Your argument was, hold on, I'm confused now. Your argument before was we should be winning games in the league to give us confidence in the Europa League.
No, my argument was us winning games in the Europa League will give us confidence to help in the league.
But you told me we were going to get to the Europa League final with 6 points for the rest of the season. So we're not
going
to win
semi-final. I said semi-final.
Whatever. We're not going to win that many games then in the league. We're going to get 6 points. But between now and the end of the season, we've got 11 games. That's maybe 2 games out of 11 games. So hold on, mate.
6 points was an understatement. 6 points was
no, but you said 6. So
to be fair, 6 is enough to keep us up. So,
well, fingers crossed we don't go on a collapse in the league and get relegated now. But
no, the other teams are too far down. It would take an absolute miracle.
But you know what I'm trying to say, right? It's just like you're saying contradicting it. So for me,
listen, I know how it makes sense in my head. Okay,
it doesn't make sense. That's why.
But it does in my head. Okay,
6 points for the rest of the season, but we need to win the Europa League.
All right, maybe 6 was an understatement. Maybe 10. I don't know. Whatever.
But I think he's going to rest. If we carry on the Europa League, he's going to rest players in the league anyway. I think anyway.
You think so?
Yeah, because he did that against City with Odegaard. Playing Odegaard, and he rested Kulusevski, Son, and I
really think Lazio might go out to Olympiacos,
By the way, Olympiacos are no pushovers. They beat.
Yeah, we said this 2 weeks ago. I'm not talking about Olympiacos again. Right. Anyway, let's finish the fucking Bournemouth for this. This is going to become an hour.
Yeah. So
we're gonna win 2-1. I'm gonna say we're gonna lose 2-1 in Holland, and we're gonna win 2-1 in the league.
We're going to lose in Holland.
We're going to lose 2-1 in Holland, and we're going to win in the league.
I think in Holland it will be 1-1. And then we'll lose 3-1 to Bournemouth.
Thanks, guys, for coming to another negative episode. Tottenham didn't even play last weekend, and we've still found a way to be negative anyway.
We did lose to City last game. We do know.
Oh, yeah. I just can't wait for the season to be over, to be honest, so we can actually have a bit of positivity back on the podcast.
Well, yeah, once Ange goes, it'll be great.
You haven't even made that comment for weeks. Can we just not? Because it's not going to happen to the end of the season, so there's no point.
No, I mean, if you get to the end of the season.
Did you ask TJ about...
I haven't asked. Sorry, because my card shit was going on.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm trying to work out what do we say? We said we were talking about Fulham. You can invite him on for the Chelsea week if you like.
Oh, wait, we're still recording.
Yeah, I know. Oh,
Yeah.
I don't care. No one listens to the podcast this long anyway. Yeah, let's wrap it up and then we'll figure it out. So next week we're going to be talking about whatever disasters in the Europa League game, the game against Bournemouth, and then we're going to preview Fulham. After Fulham, we're going to talk purely about the Europa League. So that'll probably be a short episode. And then after that, it's I was going to make a comment, but I'll get cancelled. It's the Chelsea lot, unfortunately.
Well, no, I know what you're thinking of. I'm not going to say.
Yeah, no comment. I have nothing to say. If I speak, I'll be in big trouble. Nothing to say.
And I don't want to be in big trouble.
Yeah, so we'll talk about Chelsea and then fuck knows after that, to be honest.
Whatever league game pop up, I guess.
Yeah, whatever league games pop up, whatever happens in the Europa League. If we go out of the Europa League, then it's going to be interesting to talk about the... I don't know what the fuck we're going to talk about at the end of the season.
Meaningless games. Yeah.
But yeah, so there is a period in... I might as well tell you guys because I got my phone. My phone's on like 5%. So in April...
Yep.
I'm going to see my little brother on the 16th because he doesn't know this yet, but I'm going to... I know he doesn't. I'm going to decorate his room because he's having his room changed. So I'll still be able to record on the Monday and then I'll have to bash out editing on Monday, Tuesday to then go and see him. And then that Monday night, Easter Monday, if I don't go to the Forest game, but you're going to be going to the Forest game, aren't you?
Yeah.
Or not because it's on a Monday night?
Well, I'll not be going because I'll just go straight from work.
Right, okay.
No, you're probably thinking of... No, I know what you're talking about.
Because I don't know how we're going to record on that Monday if I'm still in Southampton. I might have to come back on the... We might have to record on the Tuesday on that one. I might have to go to the gym on the Monday, record on the Tuesday.
Isn't the gym the game?
Say?
The gym's the game on the Monday night.
No, I go to the gym at like 10:30.
Oh, you mean after the game?
Yeah.
Oh, I could never do that because I'll probably be really angry if we lose.
I'm wearing Tottenham tracksuits when I'm in the gym anyway.
Are we playing at home on the Monday night, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I won't get back to like crazy.
It depends. If I go to that game, then we might just miss that one.
It's just 1 week, so...
Yeah.
If you go to the game, we could even record before the game if you want, because I'll be there in like 5-ish probably.
Yeah, well, I don't know how we're going to record at an actual pub. Right,
can you imagine you hear like people in the background?
Yeah, it's going to be a bit mental.
What are you guys doing? We're just recording a podcast.
Yeah.
Get Michael Bridge to come and say something if you want.
Can you imagine? Right, guys. Thank you guys for listening. We really need to start getting some people on. I know we say about it, but ever since I got promoted at work, it's just I don't have the time, honestly.
Yeah, for me, it's like, sorry, it's just my life is falling apart right now.
Yeah, it's fine.
But
I think for me, to be fair, once I've got my financial part of life sorted, then I'm not going to have to be as pressured as much to work as much. So then when that happens, then I can spend more time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not going to have to work as much, so...
And
being a manager right now and having to make rotas and stuff like that, it's just long. But I won't know if that's going to be permanent until the end of April.
Like, if you leave, where are you going to go? Do you know where you're going to go?
Fuck knows. It's not going to happen till the end of March anyway. I'm going to wait and see if it becomes permanent or not. About 3-4 weeks. If it becomes permanent, then I'll probably stay. If it doesn't, and the reasons for that aren't valid, then I'm just going to fuck off somewhere else because I can't be arsed. But that's work stuff. I'm not discussing that.
It's nothing to do with the football anyway.
Yeah, I'm not discussing that on the podcast. I don't want to get in shit. But yeah, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. Thank you guys very much for watching. If you want to come on the podcast, drop a comment.
And please message us on something.
Yeah, on whatever. And come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.